You fought the commissioner?
Yep, a few years back. My first introduction to FANG.
That's what he calls his knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was just a stuffy old piece of shit in a suit.
He is. No, Zan, the man knows how to fight.
Does he do it well? That's the implication of what he just said, Zander. People don't usually know,
up, man.
That man knows how to fight. About like the saddest man ever, just a Gumby of a man.
Zan, he fucked me up.
They are going to end this by fighting the commissioner, aren't they? They're establishing that the villain of the story is even tougher than Bruce.
Oh my fucking god. You're right, they're gonna fight him! Amazing. That's definitely gonna happen.
I think his thigh weighs as much as my entire body.
Is that a good thing?
It's drawn by Horror Buns.
So yes.
Raucous cheers erupted from the crowd as men surrounded the crowd of men surrounding the ring. They couldn't believe what they had seen, which we ironically did not. Rex, the undefeated champion, felled in only a few minutes.
Felled? It wasn't like a tree.
Like, yeah. He's very tall. It wasn't just a victory. It was hardly a fight at all. A landslide. A complete demolition of the man untouched by hundreds before him. Bruce tried to get up, broken, bleeding and barely breathing. Harvey stood to the side, aiming his icy glare at the opponent, both inviting and threatening Bruce to get up for another round.
Want to work for me?
I feel like if you're that much up still, like if the picture's anything to go by, you're not barely breathing.
Yeah.
The only thing. The crowd's roars wouldn't die down, not while Bruce failed to return to standing. Cries of cheating, rigging the match, stealing their money, drugging the champion. Or it's the part where he had to fight like 8 people in a row.
Mm-hmm.
The part you knew when you bet against him for the new fight. Like,
hey, nobody accused these people of being smart.
This guy beat 5 guys in a row. He can probably beat 6 people in a row. I mean, I can only identify
he's on a hot streak.
I can only identify one person in the audience, and he's not very smart. Not that Bruce could hear any of it. His head was pounding, vision blurred, nose bleeding. Broken by the looks of it. His ribs too, probably. I don't know why.
Wait, I thought Bruce was narrating this.
No,
Wait,
this.
What? Now Zander is?
I talked about this last time too. Yeah, it really confused me, and it seems like a strange choice. Bruce gives us a flashback in first person, and then we cut to Bruce fighting here in this fighting ring. But this fight was all narrated from a third person perspective, which can't be Zander because he never saw it. So the only source of information is Bruce, but instead we're going from an omniscient like narrator. It's weird.
There's a Simpsons joke. It's like this, where like Lisa is telling a story, and then at the end of the story, Homer is like, "And that's how it happened." And then Lisa's like, "Dad, I was telling this story," and Homer's like, "Oh yeah." Like that's what's happening here.
No, it's very strange. I don't really get why this framing change happened. We're telling stories that Zander can't know. So it being in the standard normal white narration and it vaguely sounding like Zander's speech or whatever. Is confusing because he can't be telling the story or know what's happening in the story. But Bruce stopped narrating at some point because it's all talking about Bruce in third person. But this was happening last time during this fight too.
I guess you got to give it a folksy narrator to make it not Zander. Well, not that Bruce could hear any of it. His head was pounding. Vision blurred.
Bruce waded through 3 miles of shit through that pipe, so he just fucking Morgan Freemaning it. No one knows what happened to Bucky or whatever the fuck the characters in the Shawshank were called. God damn.
Beautiful stuff.
Not that Bruce could hear any of it. His head was pounding, vision blurred, nose bleeding. No, broken by the looks of it. His ribs, too, probably. He's choking on his own blood. Nobody bothered to help him after he dropped. He's choking in present tense somehow. Bruce fights through the pain, the daze, the confusion, the misery, and hacks up a load of blood, making sure to breathe through his mouth. I can't tell if we're in present or past tense now. His attempt to prop himself
present tense,
up,
but telling about the past.
which is wild, because it's the context.
And omniscient Zander. This is incredible. This is why you need an editor. This is insanity.
Yeah, the scene just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it all makes sense, obviously. It's just, the format doesn't make any sense.
The prose is insane.
His attempt to prop himself up on all fours fails quickly. The beast collapses in his own puddle of blood. The crowd goes wild. Avi says nothing, simply staring into the crowd as the announcer raises his taped-up fist in the air, basking in his victory.
It just switched to present tense, like, after, like, 2 sentences.
Am I insane? I thought
that's
it was
a really
past
common
tense.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, it was past tense. That's a really common thing with writers starting out. Like, an editor is super important for catching this. Or just toss in ChatGPT.
It is confusing because like they were talking about the past within the present, and that like it was the part we missed. But then the transition to whether or not it's like the crowd's roars wouldn't die down. He tried to get up. And it's like that technically could still be the past, but it's what we're looking at on the screen, so it should just be in the current tense if the rest is going to be. But honestly, all of it should be the past tense because it's a flashback story within the.
You can scroll up again. There's another thing to point out. The crowd couldn't believe what they had seen. This is like a really tricky way to write, is like a conditional tense, but also in the past. It's very easy to mess that mode up.
Just saying. Yeah. Couldn't just put all the apostrophes in one word. Bruce stopped scratching at his arm.
Ironic. No, it was a knock your ass out alarm. It was a wake-up call.
See, he's telling the story in the past tense.
It's fucking amazing. Well, I believe it was a wake-up call.
Just feels like it could have naturally transitioned into him saying that because he was speaking the whole time.
Zander, I was telling that story.
This is what I sound like now.
I was a big fish in a little pond, knocking heads for scraps and pennies, all while there was a whole other world I couldn't even consider.
I mean, Fang's been around for a while.
Of course, but come on. Do you really think some dirt poor dad murdering dropout like me could ever hope to amount to shit?
He's really casually peppering that in.
I have thoughts about this, but we're going to wait until the end of this scene.
I just don't think he'd be ready to just drop that he killed his dad into sentences.
I just sort of gave up. I was taking scraps because that's all I deserved. But Harvey? I don't know. He saw something in me. And it was the first time I felt like I'd been seen in a long time. All those freaks in the crowd, they didn't see me. They saw Rex. They saw a big, stupid, mean monster. Harvey saw I had skill, potential. So he helped me out. Gave me a place to stay, free room, free food. All I had to do was show up and fight people.
A complete change
I was already
of
good at
pace.
that. Yeah. It's not free room and free food if there's something you have to transact for it, but all right. And I was already good at that, so becoming champ just sort of happened naturally.
Yeah, what you're talking about is the old, like, company store situation.
Yeah.
Like, hey, so you live here now, and you can't afford any mobility, and you can't leave, and so you're completely dependent on me. So you're stuck here now.
Shit, no, not... That makes me sound like an asshole. I always feel like I never earned it. Like I never worked hard enough for it. I mean, when your competition is Zander...
You're currently not earning it, that's for sure.
It's just in the right place at the right time.
He looks ashamed.
Excuse me. Bruce voice.
You're off to a rough start. We're 10 minutes in.
Just choked on some Gatorade. 1 second.
Uh-huh. We all forget to breathe sometimes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my story. The commish, Harvey, pulled me out of a shit life and gave me this new one. A better life. Not even sure if I can call it that anymore, though. It's the same shit, different coat of paint. I'm still trapped underground. I'm still fighting men that don't stand a chance. No offense.
None taken?
I still make a fraction of what I'm worth. At least, a fraction of the money we rake in, all while my boss keeps the rest of it to himself. Sorry. Excuse me. So sorry about that. Only difference is the legality. Now, I don't have to hide who I am.
But you still do. I mean, you spent the last few months making a scene whenever we were in the same room. And you always played up that big, mean monster persona in our fights.
I had to keep up appearances.
So you're still hiding who you are. Come on, Bruce, that isn't you when you know that. You always talk about how much you hate being a big, dumb monster, but that's all anyone knows you as.
Because I have to.
No.
Oh.
Sad Bruce. He yells the words and takes a second to breathe. He's not angry or aggressive, just sad.
It's all I have. I can either scare people off, or I can pretend I'm not some weird, lonely freak who's trying too hard. And I didn't want to look as desperate as I was. So, I figured that if everyone was going to be scared of me no matter what I do, I might as well own it. Lean into it. At least now I can control how they hate me, how much they respect me. Guess it's kind of fucked up when I say it out loud, huh? Harv said I need to be tough. These people are ruthless, dangerous, so I tried to beat them at their own game. When they all look at me like I'm gonna kill them, it felt so right. It felt like I belonged.
Bruce is crying.
Okay.
He grips his wrist and squeezes. Looks like it hurts. Yeah, you could just cut the part about him crying, given all the evidence.
And I am so fucking sick and tired of feeling like this. And I don't know how to stop.
I'm sorry. I had no idea you were hiding so much.
It's better this way. None of these people need to know who I am. Some stupid, broken, gay freak. I mean, shit. I can't even do that part right.
Which part? He shudders. I have to stop him from clawing up his arm.
That's not the part I expected him to say. Okay.
I was 100% sure that's the part he meant.
Oh, alright. The gay part. I'm Ace, Zan.
Oh.
Every guy I've tried being with wants something from me. I could never make it happen. They tell me it's all fine, they'll get used to it. Then when I can't, they get pissed and leave. And then I'm alone again. Rinse and repeat.
Bruce sighs and puts his face in his hands.
Sorry, that was too much.
No, it's fine.
I'm just tired. I'm tired of feeling like a failure. I let my mom down. I'm letting you down. I'm letting Harvey down. I'll let Red down. God, did I ever fuck up with Red. I fucked it up bad, Zan. I had so many chances to do it right. He's been the one light at the end of this fucking tunnel, and now...
Bruce hunkers over, sobbing.
I might not get the chance to tell him that I love him.
My heart stops beating.
He's always tried so hard to know me. He doesn't care that I'm gay. He didn't care that I'm ace. I never thought that kind of guy existed. And he's here. He's been here the whole fucking time, right in front of me. I was too busy pretending to be an asshole to protect my stupid fucking ego.
He stops speaking. There's nothing left to say. I sit next to Bruce as he cries. After a few seconds, I pull him against my shoulder.
Oh no!
What am I? What?
Oh no!
What?
Oh no! Oh.
What do you do with that?
No. Well, you don't say it. Cause, okay, the dude just choked you, Zander, and I feel like we're really gliding over that fact by just jumping into being supportive of this guy. Saying I love you, Red 2, in his condition, I love Red 2 in this condition, is a very terrifying option if you were to really think about it. Like, he's not stable, man. Gee, oh shit, I don't know. Wow.
Didn't he slam his head against the wall so hard that he bled?
Yes, he choked him out that he fell unconscious and bled. And we're just overlooking that fact.
We're just like moving on. It's like such a strong thing.
It's
funny because
kind
Xander's...
of fucking disturbing, honestly. I mean, while I'm on this topic, chat, commenters, anybody who's watching this, never fucking do this. If someone chokes you, just run away from them as fast as fucking possible. Like, this is a insanely dangerous situation that Zander is putting himself in.
Unless it's fun.
Unless it's fun. Okay. Yeah.
The little caveat.
Mm-hmm.
It is a little wild. Like, he was extremely in danger. And admittedly, like, I know there's context obviously, but like, he did spend so much time being overly freaked out by any sign of Bruce like being potentially violent when none of it was actually him being violent in person ever. So it's like at this point now it almost reads as like a little bit of like author omniscience of like, oh wow, he was so violent, I'm so scared of him, when like he wasn't actually doing anything in front of him ever to make him think that he was violent outside of the ring. But now that it's confirmed, like the thing that it was essentially being set up, now he's like blowing past it and he's like fine with it, when it's specifically the thing that he was worried about all game is exactly what happened. But I know it's in the context of like them being freaked out about Red and stuff, and it's also like time to, as the POV character, it's time to sit there and listen to the backstories and stuff. But it's like, it is a rough thing to put in.
Not just storytelling wise, like this is fairly problematic, but
yeah. The part
it's
where
tough.
He says
this is very iffy.
The part where he says the same thing that his dad did, and that's setting him off, like that is fitting, but the specific extent to which the scene goes to, you're like, that's it'd be hard to accept the protagonist just going back into having a heart-to-heart after that. Like, it's such a severe
fucking
reaction.
Scary. Honestly, like, it's pretty concerning, but
because it was bad enough that he literally thought that he killed someone.
Yeah. No, that's the other fucking thing. Like, if somebody chokes you out and then you find out minutes later that they're a murderer, and you find out minutes later that it was covered up with the help of like the employer that you work for, like there's layers of like straight up like horror
Yeah.
going on. Like, this is wild.
And on some level, you start to
Okay.
wonder, like, okay, everyone's so fucking toxic in this entire setting that these two, it almost starts to feel like these two love Red just because he's the only nice person they've ever met. And you're
Yeah,
like,
no, I think that's 100% what it's feeling like. Wow.
they can become a toxic polycule. It'll work out. It's fine. Under constant threat of
That's like
violence.
the worst possible outcome. Then that's the most terrifying fucking thing. That's if Zander gets into a relationship with Bruce, that's like fucking terrifying. Like legitimately, that's like a horror story. And
We
I
are
know I
kind of-
DM'd you about that, but I'm just gonna throw it out there still. Like, they have to address this, man. They have to confront
We are kind of
this.
entering into like an Echo level, like furry visual novel dating thing, where you where it almost feels like the point is to realize that these people shouldn't be like dating each other because they have like a upsetting dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's on purpose or not.
I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm getting very, very concerned about. Oh, God. Okay. Well, anyway, I guess focusing back up, I would pick be supportive, but you can also say I love Red too, because it's probably the more interesting.
I'm so
Narrative.
curious because
Yeah. Wait, maybe you're right. Maybe this triggers a polycule. If we say this.
Yeah, it's just the scary thing is that like I Love Red 2 feels like a real choice, as in like maybe this is even the moment that determines whether or not you commit to that route or not.
Right.
Or if you step aside for Bruce or something. And it's like generally speaking, like, you know, getting the romance is like the successful outcome in this genre.
I know what you mean.
I guess that's the convention. And so the question is whether or not that's what the game sees as like the good outcome. Because if it does see that as the good outcome, my struggle is, of course, I cannot imagine anyone in any context saying that out loud in this situation, regardless of its truth or lack of truth. Even if it's not a death sentence, it's just like the most astonishingly awkward response you could possibly have. Like,
oh, that's also true.
Like ignoring the threat of Bruce, which I don't think is even meant to be the implied. Like, I don't think we're meant to think that he's going to attack us for clicking on it or anything.
Right.
Who the fuck in the middle of this big confession just like, I love them, and just like introduce a triangle in real time in the middle of the person that's crying, and they're literally on your shoulder right now. You pulled them into you, and then you say that. Like, I can't believe
that's also true.
I just really cannot imagine that coming out of somebody's mouth in that context. Like, that would be insanely tone deaf.
This is all fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm so thrown. Whew,
I leave it up to you. Whatever you think will be interesting. You and me both is one way to phrase that, dude. Oh, wow.
What's especially rough
It's
about
so
the choice?
casual.
What's especially
It's
rough
so
about the
fucking
choice is
casual.
that the alternative is phrased as be supportive, implying that this option is not being supportive. And you're like, oh, is that the choice I'm making? Am I intentionally refusing to be supportive? Is that the implication of the choice?
Oh my god.
You and me both. My heart sinks when I say it out loud. Bruce's crying slows to a halt.
You?
Yeah. I love him too. Bruce is shaking. He clears his throat and wipes his eyes.
I gotcha. You guys were pretty close for a while, so I guess it makes sense.
Game over.
Mm-hmm. I'll back off him when he pulls through.
No, that's not what I meant. Bruce shakes his head.
It's fine. After all the shit I let slide, he deserves someone better. Damn it. No, that's not.
He growls and clenches his fists.
Scary shit. What I'm trying to say is that he deserves someone that can treat him right.
You said it yourself earlier. I haven't exactly been the best friend to him. These characters are rough sometimes, man. Bruce's claw traces my hand and rests over it. I think he was trying to scratch himself up again.
Me either. We should do something nice for him.
Maybe get him something nice, like a water bottle. He lets out a soft chuckle between his sniffles.
He is crazy about those things.
I don't think we'd have to try very hard to make him happy.
All the more reason to really do something nice.
Really a confession of how little you've tried.
It's incredible. Make up for lost time.
It's like the expectations were on the floor, but you've never met them. Make up for everything.
I don't think there's anything we can do to make this better. But we have to do something. We have to make sure this doesn't ever happen again. By killing the commissioner.
Yes. Strangle the life out of him. That's the lesson we learned here is violence is good and everyone should do it.
I feel like I'm reading a horror novel at this point. Honestly, this is really wild.
It is occurring to me that the overall they're shaken, but then now they're acting like we can never let this happen again and stuff as if they had fucked up, which like they fucked up until now, but like to a large extent it's like in the somewhat selfish sense of like them failing to have the relationships they want and have healthier lives. They didn't almost kill Redline. Neither of them did that or made choices that led to that in any comprehensible way, at least. So the response is like somewhat misplaced. It's a fitting response to like the tragedy was happening here, but now like the direction they're going in doesn't entirely make sense because you're like, no, but you didn't cause this, so you can't make decisions that avoid it necessarily.
Yeah, I get 100% what you mean. Like the character drama isn't pointed at Redline in this case because Cole was the one who did it. Yeah,
like it makes sense for them to be sad. Like anytime there's a health scare or even somebody dying for real, there's that moment of like you kind of reconsidering how you're spending your life and if you're making the right choices. Like that all makes sense. It's just the fact, but now they're redirecting the energy in a weird way of like, wait, but no, you didn't actually cause it. You're talking like you caused it. How would we do that?
Talking to Harvey would be the first step, but he's out for a week.
Just in time for our fight. He sighs.
Yeah, that too.
Bruce takes in a breath and lets it out. His hand reaches to mine, and he cuffs my wrist. We're taking you in. It's firm, but he's not hurting me. I watch as Bruce looks around his room, then looks to the ceiling, closing his eyes. His thumb caresses my wrist. It's slow. Why do I feel like he's about to snap your wrist?
Because there's evidence for it, maybe. It's fucking terrifying me, man.
It feels like he's stopping the next fight from happening by breaking his wrist. And I'm like, wait.
It's like a horror novel.
The fade to black. Scared.
Me too. Okay. I know what we can do.
Oh, he's confessing. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. You strangled him. I did.
I'm fine, Drayden.
You
Bruce and I are seated in Drayden's office. I spent the night in Bruce's apartment. It was late.
What?
We both agreed we didn't want to be alone after watching what happened to Redline.
What?
If you're...
Oh my god.
I feel like when you knock somebody out by strangling them and stuff and hitting their head against the wall, you probably should go to the hospital that night and not sleep overnight and then hope you wake up in the morning.
Oh my god,
For a head wound,
dude.
you kind of want to check that out.
Oh my god.
I know how it sounds because it's accurate.
I lost control, Drayden. I don't have an excuse for what I did. I acted out of emotion. I acted out after emotions ran high, and I hurt Zander. Okay. And I'm telling you this to own up for my actions. Do you need to run any tests or scans on him? Make sure his throat's all normal?
His throat, didn't he bleed? That means you hit his head bad.
His fucking brain, he fell unconscious.
Yeah. You did choke him out unconscious twice now, at least, also. Or 3 times? Did he also choke him out in practice?
I don't think so. I think he didn't choke him, like, all the way, right? Like, he just pinned him, but not enough to hurt. But enough to give him a boner.
And also, he was twice as big all of a sudden. Drayden makes an annoyed sound.
Zander's boner grew 3 times hard that night. Ideally, we would have done that last night, immediately after you strangled Zander.
Uh-huh. Drayden.
Don't Drayden him on this. He's fucking right, dude. So waiting half a day before coming to me was not just irresponsible, but incredibly dangerous. Right. The commissioner? Not the fucking police? The Are you fucking shitting me right now? I will be writing this up and reporting you to the commissioner. Understood. Though he is out of town for a week. That... Damn it. Fine. Whatever. Are you okay, Zander?
I was shaken up, but I feel fine now. It stung for a little bit after, I guess. He didn't really strangle me for long.
Dude.
Just fully lost consciousness.
Bro, dude, man.
Drayden holds his temple with his fingers. It wasn't that bad, he just thought he killed me. He genuinely thought that he murdered me and was like, oh god, what am I going to do? I can't believe it happened again.
This is fucking incredible. That doesn't make it any better, Zander. Bruce. Yeah? I'm signing you up for mandatory anger management courses. You don't have the authority to do that. You know who might, though? The fucking police.
They have anger management courses down here? What's the attendance level like?
Thank you. I don't ever want something like this to happen again.
Drayden stops writing for a second, then continues writing.
Cool sentence. Could I, get some therapy sessions, too? I know it won't fix everything, but it seemed to help Zan and Red. So...
Is anger management not therapy?
I don't know. I've never...
I guess courses might mean like a lecture. Like, here's an informational speech about...
Yeah, it might be PowerPoints or some
it might be
shit.
a bunch of lectures about it.
Group kind of discussions.
Yeah, I guess
like
I did take courses on anxiety. So then it was literally just like, join this shitty fucking Zoom call and listen to the instructor try to get somebody to mute their microphone for 10 minutes. Cool, now we can start. I'm so glad this wasn't in person. I asked for in-person ones and I was so fucking annoyed that they gave me Zoom ones. And it's like, cool, I get to listen to people struggle with technology while I struggle to pay attention because I'm in my room with an iPad instead of like in a room where I'm expected to pay attention. Anyway.
Of course, Bruce. I'd be happy to schedule some lessons. I'll give you a call after this to set something up. come on, don't make a fucking joke out of this. This is driving me fucking crazy. Every sentence that isn't somebody saying they're going to call the police on Bruce is like just fucking driving me nuts. This is insane. Wow. Is there any more assault that I should be made aware of?
I don't think it's necessarily a joke. It's just like, do I need to know more about this shit? Like, what the fuck's going on? Just figuring out what to say about it. This is a bit of a recurring thing in free visual novels, where sometimes stories introduce a form of violence that's very hard to walk back, and you're like, don't love the vibe there. Don't know what I'm supposed to make of that one. I'm not loving the vibe, as you put it right now. The vibe is very unloved by me. Yeah, like in Password, there's a beautifully fascinating scene where Dean, the bear who keeps making horny jokes, makes a horny joke at the dragon, and for some reason the crocodile just knocks him the fuck out, just punches him out. Unlike day like 4 of the story, that's like a month long. So nothing, like the stakes haven't happened yet. Like the death game isn't a known entity yet. He just punches this guy out on their friendly vacation of like supposed to be like 7 people who all like got in a bus together to go hang out in a mansion for a vacation for a month as like their final thing after, when a bunch of them are graduating and stuff. And I was just thinking about like, if I was like, at the time I was thinking about like the boat trip we had been on recently, but like thinking now like back to like that time that we all met up at like Andrew's house and stuff like that for like the whole streamer group. If one of us like punched the other one unconscious in that group, that would be the end of that like trip. Everyone would kind of scatter, because how do you like recover
everyone
from
would
that
fucking flip out
in the middle of your friend group? But like the writing of Password doesn't register that that's a big deal. And I was like, yeah, he just punched him unconscious, whatever. The Password then goes on to specify later that those two are best friends. you're like, what? He punched him unconscious on their friendly vacation for making a joke he thought was inappropriate. And it was funny because it leads back to our previous questions about like, why is Zander have such seemingly severe reaction about his name, and like what is the story trying to imply there? That was the other time that I thought like, is a character trans here? Because I thought, oh, you made a weird horny joke about the genitalia of this character, and then that was met with violence. Is the implication supposed to be that it's especially touchy to talk about this specific person's genitalia? So like, are you implying that character's trans? Like you try to find meaning, because
they put a lot of weight on it.
The intensity just doesn't make sense, and it's like, no. It was just that one specific horny joke was deserving of violence, but none of the other ones in the entire game since or before ever were, and it keeps doing them.
And just with the way that storytelling works, like anything that you put towards the front of the story, naturally people are going to assume is very important. So anyway, I mean, I didn't. The writing, the break between the last recording session and this one, I didn't really reflect on how weird it was that Zander was comforting Bruce after all this until I had like a day or two to reflect on it. But that was also because there was a big interlude with Bruce telling his backstory.
We were in Bruce's head for a while and dealing with all that upsetting stuff, which distracts somewhat from exactly what had just happened in the scene before. But then you process what Zander's doing, you're like, I think this might have been too far. Might have gone a step too far to just walk back from, and then and then they're just like having a heart-to-heart now. That's rough.
Yeah. Okay. Where is this gonna go?
I'm also just a little iffy because like, I think Bruce has basically just kind of not had anger problems in this game until recently. Like, I think the first hint you have that he has anger problems is that he has all the claw marks in his room, which could be a combination of anger to like harm to anything in his privacy.
Yeah.
But everything else just read as like, one, nothing he ever did outside of the arena was very severe, and what he did do always read as like fronting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he was just like
For kayfabe.
like can't be seen with this guy. Not even kayfabe necessarily, but just like high schoolers that can't be seen.
True. Just
like
jock
somebody that doesn't want to
stuff,
think that doesn't want to be seen with by people thinking that he likes the nerd or whatever. So it's just like this has not been a consistent problem for him.
Yeah, I mean, we can identify that there was a point where every character's personalities basically turned a corner instantaneously. Like Xander's did, Redline's did, Bruce's did. And if you're trying to look for any setup to some of these things, it doesn't exist. Because I assume they weren't decisions that were made until a lot closer to the scenes that we're reading right now.
Any more assault? No. There's a beat of silence, then Bruce speaks up.
How is he?
Drayden looks down.
He's stable.
That's good, right?
Yes, it's good. He's alive. So why are you acting like he's dead? He sustained a lot of damage. He might lose a lot of mobility. He definitely lost vision, at least in one eye.
I'm starting to feel dizzy again. I don't want to think about this, but I have to know.
But he's alive. And he's going to need time to rest and recover.
And
the medicine is working, but he needs time. The amount we have to use to keep him afloat induces a pretty deep sleep, so
he's in a coma.
Medically induced, yes.
A claw tears through the fabric lining Bruce's armrest. He looks embarrassed.
Easy, buddy. Ooh. Thank you. Of course. And thank Kane, the surgeon, if you see him. He's a miracle worker, I swear. I will.
We sit in silence for a few seconds, and Drayden speaks up.
Zander, if I could speak to you privately for a moment?
What about?
Okay. Bruce.
No, wrong B name.
Oh, God.
Someone knocks on the door and Bucky leans inside.
Hi. Oh, sorry. Was I interrupting? No, I was hoping you could be here. Should I leave?
That is what "can I talk to him privately" means. About you.
I think in the interest of Xander's safety, yes.
He didn't.
What?
The champ shakes his head, standing and stepping toward the door.
No, I get it. It's fine. I'll see you later then.
Yeah. With Bruce gone, Bucky stands in front of the door, his arms crossed.
So, what happened?
I sigh. Bruce strangled me last night.
You heard? And you didn't call the police either?
Well, given the previous line, the implication seemed to be that he came here because he heard. Like, just now, somehow.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay.
Like,
I see.
Like, Drayden called him.
There's a rumor spreading,
something.
and he just heard. Okay.
I figured Drayden called him here.
Oh,
just
probably.
now.
Could be. Yeah.
Because he seemed to
makes
be...
sense.
The thing that throws me, it was him being like, was I interrupting something or something? I'm like, what? Aren't you here explicitly to escort Bruce away or something?
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I heard. Was there any more to that story, or was he just doing that for the hell of it?
We went back up to his room after Redline's fight. I said something that set him off, and he snapped and attacked me. It's only for a few seconds, and I feel fine now.
I already spoke to him about anger management, and then he offered to have some therapy with me.
We're going to go over our essential oils. That'll
Normally,
fix
normally something like this gets reported immediately, but the only one with firing power is the commissioner.
I don't know why my Drayden voice sounds like a George Lucas. Don't we have an HR department?
Well, yeah, we do. But for Bruce, everything has to go through the boss.
You guys do not have an HR department. I refuse that canon. Like the entire escalating situation with Redline and Cole, and you guys have an HR department? What?
Every fucking sentence is
all
just,
of the witnesses to hit the behavior around Redline, right, and no one involved is ever going to HR, including Bucky, who saw last time.
Like every direction is just like a battle on my brain right now.
It's like the obvious follow-up line would be like, yeah, we have an HR department. It's called the commissioner. Like that's all of the like every accountability level would be the commissioner, and that's why this is how this got this way. Obviously, you can't just There's just an HR department like just around the corner somewhere that's never come up. Just, like there's someone who works there we never meet that just comes here every day. Like who the fuck? That would solve so many problems. Wait, also you think that the HR department would come up over the process of the firing of Ryan? Wait, you're going to fire Bruce? They both look at me like I'm crazy. Okay, maybe it was a stupid question.
Zander, I assaulted you. Like, not even just a petty scrap. He could have killed you.
But he didn't.
How kind of him.
This is a fitting response. But what is standing out to me, and it's admittedly because we might just because we're not in the right rooms to encounter it, but we are talking about firing Bruce before we hear any whiff about firing Cole. And it's like, I don't think you... And there's no sane world where you're like, oh, but he was in the ring, so it's okay that he was like Mortal Kombating Redline and ripping all of his limbs off one by one or whatever the fuck happened. You're like, the fact that we've never addressed the idea of whether or not Cole's fate at all is feeling weirder the more we go in on Bruce for the few seconds of strangling, which is very bad, but an order of magnitude lesser than what has happened just now in the other room, basically.
It's just fucking crazy, man. It's just... My brain is going haywire.
I mean, you're right, it was dangerous. But how is this any different than the fighting that we're doing in the arena? I mean, you're right, he also strangled you in your first fight, which is highlighting further issues with this place.
Because that's sanctioned.
Is it legal? Is Cole getting in any trouble for what he did to Redline? Their silence is satisfying, disheartening, a little bit of both.
Huh? Of course he is. He went too far.
Then where is he?
We can't find him.
That's terrifying.
What?
What does that mean?
What the fuck is happening?
Like, did he book it out of the entire compound somehow? Can anyone do that?
I thought he was escorted by security.
Can anyone even escape this place? Or oh, you're right. He was ripped out by the security people.
What the fuck?
And it hasn't been specified necessarily if people can leave or not. They're not supposed to for their contract, but I don't know if they can physically just leave the room, leave through the doors or not, or if Bruce exclusively has that magic power because of his fingerprint nonsense that he thinks that he thinks might be an accident. So I don't know if it's possible.
I have no answers for anything right now.
What the fuck? He's just gone?
Well, no. He was taken out of the arena by the guards, and then... Yeah, he's just gone. Well, I can't get a straight answer out of any guard. None of the coaches have any idea, and with the commissioner out...
Bucky sighs and drops into a chair, holding his head.
I feel like I'm going crazy, Keith. I feel like I'm going crazy, dude. Zander.
I didn't see it before, but it's clear now. He's exhausted. His hair and fur are messy, the bags under his eyes have gone dark, and now he's dropped the casual vibe he always carries.
Redline almost got killed last night, and nobody can tell me anything. And now you're getting strangled by the champion, and I'm just lost. I was supposed to train you both up. I was supposed to make you able to defend yourselves.
Drayden and I wait while he takes time to breathe, clearly on the verge of tears. I'm sorry. I reach an arm across his shoulder and he shakes his head.
No! I'm sorry. I let this go too far.
It's your turn to cry.
Yeah. It's just crying circle jerk. Well, I knew this whole thing was wrong. Well, I should have stepped in sooner. Well, I should have said something.
What can he do, though?
Apparently, fuck all nothing.
Like, I don't know what he could have done, what the implication is, because, like, this is just a system where, like, the commissioner is just like, executively just deciding to cause a horrible scenario to happen on purpose, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
And everyone else just has to, like, be like, shrug at that. Or
Apparently.
quit, and that's it. Which, like, yeah, I'd want to quit, too. But yeah, I don't know what Bucky's supposed to do in this situation.
Well, I thought I could just do my job and make it strong enough, but nothing could prepare you for this.
He looks to me.
So, I'm putting a stop to this. No more fighting with Bruce. When the commissioner gets back, we're doing whatever it takes to get you out of here safely.
That would have been nice to hear a few months ago, Bucky.
You're right.
Yeah, it has the vibe of a decision that was made, like, almost in real time in the narrative, because it almost feels like...
Yeah. It's just a lot of lampshade hanging dialogue.
Yeah,
too,
like it has the
yeah.
vibe of when a narrative starts calling out its own bullshit, essentially, like,
yeah,
months
exactly.
into it. It's like it's like, here's all the stuff. It's like, this setting's wild, huh? Jesus, how do we? It's like the you know, have you seen the sequel to This Is Fine? Where the This Is Fine dog just loses his goddamn shit, and like none of this is fine.
No, I love that one.
Yeah,
it's like, no, this is not fine. How did I let it get this far?
Yeah, it has like that sort of vibe, but it's like it's just happening on a switch where you're like, well, yeah, like we know the story's kind of in a wild place, but it's a bit surprising to have the story itself be like, yeah, fuck. And then just kind of like,
yeah, it's really interesting. I kind of wish that in a lot of ways that they were just like, yep, plot holes, fuck it, let's just move on.
You almost want them to commit, because otherwise it feels like an admission of like,
yeah,
that it wasn't going anywhere, or it wasn't fully planned.
It forces you to think about
setting.
it, you know. It draws attention to it more than it hides it to say something like that. You know?
Yeah, to just admit like this was never going to work and there was no outcome. What was he doing? It's like, yeah, you are the authority figure. What were you doing? It's like, you're like admitting that it's.
It just makes him look bad, right? It just makes him look like he didn't do anything. You are absolutely right. I thought I could just help you push through and everything would work out. I was scared of losing my job. Fuck you. Dude. Unbelievable. Fuck you, Bucky. Wow. Wow.
It's very damning when the authority figures involved admit that they were putting people in danger because they were afraid of getting in trouble for standing up for the fact that people might die. You're like, oh, okay, well,
what fucking bothers me is that Zander's going to forgive him and not hold him accountable to that.
Probably because Zander's already forgiving Bruce for strangling him. And you're like, that's a weird response given you were preemptively not ready to forgive him before he did it.
But it's the combo of that and people in authority admitting that they're scared of doing anything or else they'll lose their fucking job is like, it's terrifying, man. Because like, that's what happens. That's what happens. It's what leads people to like suffer, like legitimately. Yeah. And he's gonna forgive it, and that fucking bothers me.
Yeah, because I don't know where they're going with it tone-wise, but it does feel like then you're making characters that, like, I don't know, just were cowards and were complicit the whole time, and it's like...
He's a coward.
I don't know if that's necessarily where they're going when they made, like, the plucky, happy, friendly cast of characters that are a bunch of hot gay men that are helping you train in the tournament. And you're like...
No, Bucky's a fucking coward. This is crazy. Wow. Well, I was scared of losing my job if I kept speaking up. Although I'd give up anything to make sure that this never happens again. So no more fighting. When the commissioner comes back, we're marching in there and stopping this for good.
I think this is a good...
Wow.
I think this is... What I'm thinking about is that there's another example of violence going too far that's hard to walk back in the narrative, which is that, like... It's one thing if he just keeps getting stuck fighting Bruce in like the shonen protagonist, like David and Goliath way. You're like, I'm gonna keep training you until you can beat that guy, little Mac.
But then to be lying to him about it.
But in the second fight, he caved his chest in.
Yeah.
Like it was such a severe reaction.
He's directly complicit narratively, and anybody would be able to see it on its face.
The moment that Bruce caves in Zander's chest and he has to spend like a month just trying to heal from that before he can even train again, the violence has escalated to such a degree that you can't be like, oh, you can't just go back to be like, oh, we're just having fun training arc. We're going to have you kill that half giant over there. It's totally going to happen, Zander. Because it got so bad so early that you're like, it's the uncomfortable thing hanging over the whole thing. It's not like a fun training arc thing.
I mean, the reason is he didn't want to lose his fucking job, so there you go.
And it's like, that part's potentially setting up like Bruce is like, I'm just a big monster stuff, which who knows which stuff was like fully planned and which stuff wasn't. But like, in that moment, it got too violent and too real and too like consequential for anyone involved to just be like, to be playing this up and like playing and like maintaining this like ignorance the way that he's like hinting that he was. So he's like, I was going to train you up, but he's like saying like he believed it or something. I'm like,
it sounds like he's covering his ass.
Yeah, it's like if he just kept losing the fight, that'd be one thing. But the fact that the violence was that bad and his chest was caved in and the story had to just run with that meant that from that moment on, everyone was like really like darkly complicit with a horrible system that just grinds people up in horrible ways. And that was so early in the story at this point that you're like,
now this almost feels like Bucky is covering his ass and like gaslighting Zander a bit of like, oh shit, Bruce has committed a crime. Let me just step in and like just start saying like all this shit so that he doesn't like get mad at me or something. You get what I'm saying? Like that
was the moment that was bad enough that it shook Bruce and no one else. Nobody else took any action. It was such a severe moment. But it was only in service of Bruce's character and him setting up that he can be accidentally violent, and also the fact that he's not actually doing this on purpose and that was not supposed to happen. But no one else in the entire power structure, including all the friendly gay people, like did anything whatsoever, and they didn't change their behavior, and they didn't even like fight for it and then get declined or get shouted down or even threatened. They just like ignored it. You're like, what are you?
And then look at this fucking sentence right here. When the commissioner comes back, that's in a week. They're not going to fucking do anything for a week. They're not going to take action right now. Like, that also feels complicit. It's like, we're waiting for the commissioner to come back so we can continue to work within the system to try and take care of this. Like, what the fuck?
And I imagine I also imagine that they know that the commissioner is the grandfather of the fighter in
That's
question.
what I feel too.
Because it sounds like
they're putting this off until he comes back.
It sounds like a bunch of people know about this except Zander, basically. So you're like, so then these guys know, right? These guys know that they're both Gray Fang, right? Like, how do you even parse the idea? I would
fucking hope that Drayden does.
Yeah, like, how do you even parse the fact that the commissioner hired a guy to kill his grandson, basically, then went on vacation on purpose at the same time, just like fucking went out to the Bahamas, like just imagining like fucking Redline's bones snapping like chicken bones. Like, what the fuck is this?
Like stirring a drink on the beach?
Yeah, he's got his martini, and I was like, what the fuck? What is, what is there insane?
This story has gone so fucking off the rails, man. I have been so lax and forgiving, but just like this scene is just destroying anything I can try to deal with. This is fucking crazy.
There's just enough people complicit and stuff that you're like, how do
it's imploding.
Who do you end up liking after the story? Like, just Redline?
I mean, I think Bucky's a fucking horrible person.
Yeah.
Like, he knew about this and just said, I didn't want to do anything about it because I didn't want to lose my job. And we're going to wait until my boss comes back before we do anything about it. Like, it's horrible. It's a fucking horrible man. Like, this embodies like the worst things that you could ever ask for from like a system of any kind. Like, it's just unbelievably corrupt, you know? It's so unethical behavior.
Yeah, there's people that only have your back when it suits like the story they tell themselves, basically. It's
absolutely fucking disgusting. Like, this is a moment that should be interpreted as Bucky is was stabbing Zander in the back this whole time. Like, this is a horror story. Honestly, this should be when Xander's psyche starts collapsing because he's like, everybody around me did nothing to help me and they're still not doing anything to help me.
And it's gonna be really weird if he's like forgiving everyone and be like, no, and stuff like that, because he spent like the first half of the story specifically resenting literally every
if his character didn't grow, he would be reacting to this in a healthier way. That's fucking wild.
I was about to say that. Yeah, is that like he was unreasonable to Redline, but his resentment towards the situation he was in was accurate, because it was like a horrific situation that he was literally being forced into in like a fucked up like I just watched Squid Game season 2 just now, and it's like, it's that kind of situation. It's like you're in a Squid Game, like you're just like you're locked into a weird death match of just horrible shit happening to you, and you can't leave for economic reasons. That's horrifying.
You know what's crazy?
He was correct to be upset by that, and it's weird that his character arc seems to have functionally maybe set him up to be weirdly it's like anti-development, like the idea that he might have learned to be more passive about his mistreatment.
So you could pivot this into a really weird tragedy by saying like that Zander, his growth like made him open to manipulation, and it's like, oh, I should have never trusted people, which would then make that the moral of the story, which would also be very weird. But like, that's a sensible arc for it's a more logical arc than what I fear is about to happen, which is him being like, I forgive you. I dread what we're going to be reading like 3 or 4 slides from now. I truly do.
I'm a little afraid of every line a little bit, yeah.
I feel like a pit in my stomach forming over the past couple of minutes. This is unbelievable.
I feel like we're hurtling towards a conclusion that the roster of characters are not ready to actually reconcile, and you're like,
and it's going to be deeply problematic. That's my biggest fear, is that it's gonna be weird, man. All right, you ready to move on to the next slides?
I'm reminded of how when I read stuff like this, not stuff like this, when I reach the conclusions of many stories, not even for visual novels, but like TV shows and stuff, so often the solution to like forcing a conclusion is just to have characters say less.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's just because like if you watch like a 7-season television show, the final season almost always has to like pretty inelegantly just wrap things up in a way where they're kind of just chopping a lot of them off, the storylines off and character lines off, or just shoving things into the buckets they have to go into to make an ending happen. And it almost never works across almost any show. Like, it's really sloppy all the time. It's like the best people in the industry.
Very few final seasons are good.
This. It's like, it's just like Breaking Bad. I assume Better Call Saul. I didn't make it to the final season because I just haven't watched the last one yet because all the gaps. But like, obviously, like, infamously, Game of Thrones was a huge train wreck.
Game of Thrones,
Lost is fascinating. Lost people might have like softened on Lost by now, honestly, compared to how many bad endings they've seen by comparison.
True.
But like, I loved. I'm a weird, like, I'm oddly a diehard fan of Walking Dead and The 100. And both of those have hilariously sloppy endings. The 100
That's funny.
is genuinely fun to watch for like 5 of its 7 seasons, and then the penultimate one's like, and then the final one, you're like, what the fuck? People are going to hyperbolic time chambers basically to do like arcs off camera and shit, like Arcane. And you're like, I spent 100 years in this other dimension, like in the like fucking Heroes, where fucking Peter and Sylar go into a fucking dream dimension where they have to punch through a wall for 100 years or some shit, and now they're friends or whatever in one episode. Like, it's the trash that happens at the end of these storylines gets so bad. But what I find very interesting in when I'm reaching the ending of storylines that are really big and complicated is just watching which characters stop saying things and kind of take a back seat, and the conclusion happens at them. Because if you have everyone grapple directly with the conclusion, then any gaps you do have get really apparent, because everyone's having to, like, it's like what you said, like the lampshade moment where you have to like have everyone directly engage with. It gives
more surface area for something to not make sense. I mean, there's so many storytelling problems that are resolved by having your characters talk less. It's like one of the best.
Not even necessarily resolved, it's just hidden. Because it's not a sign of amazing writing. It's just a trick to dodge directly saying what you set up and being like, oh god, oh fuck.
I mean, there's a certain, artfulness, or there's a unique opportunity with motion pictures, like TV and film, that like you can have a silent movie or a silent TV show and it totally works, and dialogue just becomes like icing on the cake. And like, I think that stories that like movies that have less dialogue and more action are better.
You can watch Mad Max Fury Road without dialogue.
And
it works. No, I was talking about my specific example of using making certain characters shut up to just hide the fact that they don't make sense.
Oh, I see what you mean.
I was talking about my thing.
One or two characters.
And I'm saying that's not necessarily a replacement for good writing. It's just a way of hiding mistakes.
It works.
It's a trick.
Okay.
Anyway,
let's go back to Bucky doing his
harder tangent than it necessarily deserved, but we were on podcast mode a little bit.
When the commissioner comes back, we're marching in there and stopping this for good.
What else can we do? He's already threatened my job. And if you try anything, he'll just fire you.
I don't care. It's just unbelievable.
Losing your job isn't going to change anything. And besides, we need you here. These men need a good, positive influence, and you're the best coach we have. I'm coach that's
getting sick to my stomach.
Yep, Zander's immediately doing what we thought, which is that he's going to now defend everybody that was screwing him over. And
I'm physically reacting to this, and it's not pleasant. Like, this is really, really not making me happy right now.
Yeah, it's rough that he's
fine.
Like,
we're gonna get through it.
It's exactly what we predicted. It's like his character arc has been him learning the wrong lesson, because now he's like bending over backwards to apologize for the people that he specifically was being screwed over by and were complicit in this, and just watching it happen, and that he was specifically mad at before correctly.
Yeah, and like this is like written the story into a corner where like either direction is the wrong thing to like spit out. It's either it's good to forgive people, or it's bad to learn how to forgive people. Like those are the two directions this could take. I don't know how you fucking thread something different. This is fucking crazy. I can't believe I'm reading these words.
It's partially honestly a highlight of the way that like stories aren't just realistic. Like, if you want to have character arcs and morals and an arc, and also like the dramatic tensions writing, like all the elements that make a story work in parallel, you need to plan them all in advance in parallel, because otherwise they're going to end up with contradictory messaging.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like,
I mean,
what?
You can say that the external stakes and the internal stakes are fine. I can't begin to analyze them right now, because the philosophical arc of this story is just so fucking crazy to me right now. Like, the themes, what am I supposed to take away from the philosophy of this work? I don't know.
It's hard because like these men need a good influence, and you're like, these men these men have been established to be ignoring him during all the lectures, so it's like he's not effective as a coach. Well, maybe the
other coaches are fucking worse. I don't know.
We never met them. We don't know. We actually don't know the name of a single other coach, I don't think, or have seen evidence that they exist,
terrifying.
Which is in their own way. But
I'll take Zander at his word. Are the other coaches worse than this? Do the other coaches fucking kick you in the nuts every time you walk in the door? What do they do? How can they be worse than this?
I think only a couple of lines have even acknowledged the idea that there might be other coaches. I guess it's just because like I know that the higher tier people have private coaches, and there was some point there was like, oh, we got the same coach at some point because they were assigned. So I guess that meant that there's different ones.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're the best coach we have. It's like you stood by and watched me get torn apart several times.
It's sickening. It's really something else.
Like, why? Because you're friends with the guy who's doing it? Does that
It's like the Harry Potter thing where these people are good because they're good. It's not good actions, it's good people, you know?
Bucky swallows, looking away. Bruce already said he won't hurt me, not in a fight.
And last night was...
Look, I know what happened.
No, don't say it. Don't do this to me, man.
Tensions ran high and I said something awful. I can forgive him for his actions without forgetting what he did to me. He's already carrying a lot of guilt, clearly. Doubling down on it isn't going to help him.
Oh my god. If you feel safe with him, then there's nothing we can do to stop you from being around him. But just be careful.
I will. He made a mistake last night. We both did.
What?
We both did.
What? Ah!
I think granted my mistake didn't involve strangling someone. Zander.
I'm shocked, dude. I'm fucking shocked. I have never read anything like this before. I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
This
is fucking insane.
What they're talking about is the fact that Zander said you're the reason he's dead about Redline, which is him lashing out about him stopping him from going for it, which was unreasonable, but like it's just not, you can't equate these things.
I'm just going back to like, if I knew somebody who like just said some shit like, oh, my husband, he strangled me last night, but it's okay, I made a mistake, we both made mistakes, I would be freaking the fuck out. Like,
yeah, no, it's terrifying. Like Drayden's looking at us like, what do I do with these people? Like, what can I do if he's willingly going to go back to him? And then Bucky being like, oh, I can't do anything about it because I'm afraid of losing my job. It's like, that's the shit that fucking happens. That's real life.
And that's like what gets people killed. Holy shit, dude.
But he's hurting a lot, and he's willing to put in the work so that he doesn't hurt others anymore. He wants to be better for himself and for Redline. I turn to Bucky. Let me fight. One more fight, that's all we need.
Oh my fucking god, he has to fight him in a week and he still wants to do it? They're not gonna go to the commissioner? The commissioner, they're gonna fight. They're not gonna confront the commissioner first. He's gonna do the fight with Bruce. He's gonna do the fucking fight with Bruce, man.
His arc leads to him asking for the fight?
He's gonna die. He's gonna fucking die, dude.
Are they gonna pull a
In real
Hunger
life,
Games?
he would fucking die. The thought that there might be a Bruce romance arc to this is like beyond the fucking pale.
I mean, yeah, that'd be weird. I'm wondering if he's planning on pulling like a Hunger Games thing, like a live protest.
That might be okay.
Or he and Bruce specifically refuse to do the fight or something.
That they should say don't do the fight.
Because otherwise I can't think of any other way that he would be asking for the fight, because nothing's been solved.
Yeah. But Bucky's gonna say something like,
Bruce
okay,
has
I'll
specifically
train
been
you.
threatened into having to fight and having to like actually go after him supposedly. And they haven't planned it, as far as I know.
Bucky's gonna be like, all right, I'll train you, as opposed to like trying to do anything to stop him from being hurt. The fucking thing that he said 5 sentences ago, I'm calling it right now. He's gonna say, like, I'll train you for it. Maybe he'll resist like 1 or 2 sentences and then he'll fucking say it. Okay, let's see what happens.
He takes a second to wipe his eyes.
I don't want him hurting you anymore.
I know, but... I'm pulled into a hug, the thick, strong arms of my coach begging me to provide support as he leans into me. His breath hangs in the air for a second.
Please. Please let me protect you.
I pull him close, nestling my head into his neck. Thank you, Bucky. But I can defend myself now. You definitively cannot.
You fucking...
I definitely wouldn't have survived this long if it wasn't for you. I don't think there's a single person that Zander can beat in a fight in this entire bunker besides Drayden?
Redline, who we established as being stronger because of an arm wrestling contest. But that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Even that's dubious, because Redline beat the other guy that was 50 pounds heavier than him, so I don't think the arm wrestling match matters. I think he would still floor Zander.
That doesn't count. No, it doesn't count. I don't know what to fucking make of anything, dude.
He starts to break. Nothing, at the end of the day, I don't think Bucky helped.
No, he was a fucking coward.
All
he made everything worse. He's a horrible person.
He's saying I only survived because of you, and I'm like, no.
No, he's a fucking villain,
You survived
dude.
because Bruce doesn't want to murder you. And also,
he's a fucking antagonist.
After the first couple of fights, he's like, "Oh fuck!" And then it was entirely Bruce's choice to be like, "I'm gonna specifically gut punch him out this time. This time, I'm gonna just make him pass out," and like increasingly trying not to break his bones.
Bruce is sorry. Bucky is an antagonist on the level of the Commissioner. We just didn't fucking know it yet. Wow.
Yeah. He starts to break.
I don't even want to give him the fucking Australian accent for right now.
He doesn't deserve it.
No. I'm sorry, Zander. It's too fucking silly for this. You know?
You can't say that about Australia.
The goofiest, God's goofiest country.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Zander.
It's okay. You believed in me. But I need you to believe in me for one more fight.
Ah! That's not a great sound effect. What the fuck? Did Bucky just kill Zander? Oh my god. Good night, sweet prince.
That was strangely upsetting. Bucky?
I'm not in a mental position to take a fucking sound effect like that right now, dude.
Yeah, that was a little too...
He killed him.
Like, it's supposed to be just like, fun bear hug, strong emotion reaction. But for genuinely,
it's like a horror story.
It sounded too much like he snapped his neck the way that people do in movies. I was like, oh my god.
Because there were dead silence leading up to it. Bucky had his eyes closed as if he was going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, we can't have you spilling any secrets about the commish.
But then Bucky's entire body shook, so it's like it made me think that he got murdered. Like it's like Bucky just died.
Terrifying.
Oh, it feels like a misuse of the cut the music out trick too. It's if you make the music cut out and a sound effect plays, that's always a bad thing.
Yeah,
or a startling, upsetting ominous
thing. Yeah, in a second here too.
Like there's multiple parts in my story where I make the music cut out because glass shatters.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas like somebody tugging somebody tighter is, if anything, the moment in the movie where the music swells louder.
Yeah, it should be your like fucking where he starts singing "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" moment, practically, right? Like.
Yeah. The massive arms
binding
John Williams
me start crushing instead. Thing, you know?
The massive arms binding me start crushing instead. My smaller body completely overpowered as he pulls me closer.
Anything you need, we'll do it for you. I guess I brought back the accent. It's fine. I'm following your lead.
The hug breaks and I can finally breathe again.
Come the fuck on. Don't write something like that right now. It sounds like we've got our work cut out for us. You two have a fight to get ready for, and Bruce and I have some meetings. Well, you're gonna need anyone here for those anger management thingies? Well, normally we would I just read the whole fucking slide. Huh. Okay. Well, normally we have security nearby for those sessions, but I have a feeling he won't need one.
That's not how security works.
I just don't. Huh. Okay. Zander trusts him, so I do too.
I appreciate that, Drayden. He smiles and nods. Sure, stop having security for our fights while you're at it.
Let's get to work.
Everyone needs to be fired.
Wow, fucking congratulations. Really outdid yourself for one of the probably most problematic depictions I could have ever imagined for handling somebody getting choked out like that. Like truly from every dimension, that was horrifying. That whole scene blows out everything that I have criticized the story for up until now. Like this is really, really something else.
It's weird. It's wild because like the consequences that Bruce faces almost sound like they're like begrudging. Like, damn it, I guess we gotta do it.
Well, like, he is the fucking champ, so they can't hold his feet to the fire. They can do it with Cole. He's not the champ. Bruce gets fucking his murder covered up by the commissioner. Zander doesn't seem to mind that. Of like, I got I got strangled by somebody no one's calling the police for, and if they did, maybe they wouldn't even fucking find out. Maybe the commissioner can just fucking bury if that happens. It's a nightmare. This is a horror story. It's
Zander's
like it's almost researched to be like, what's the worst possible thing that can happen to this person over, like, what's the worst reaction that everyone could be having to this situation right now? Like,
there's a background element of like, it feels like Zander's starting to speak with the level of confidence that a protagonist has at the end of a story when they have a plan and they're going to do something genius, but we're just not allowed to know yet. But it just sounds like he's just like walking face first, like just head on into abusive relationships, and never like, trust me, I got this.
It's more abusive relation. Getting strangled is like the biggest red flag that somebody you're dating or married to is going to murder you. Like, it's the biggest one. What is it like? It's like 50% more likely, or what is it? It's like 50% of domestic homicides start with you getting strangled. Like, this is fucking unbelievable. Just truly extraordinary. Okay.
I didn't see much of Bruce this week.
That's good.
It's one of those moments again where you're just like, I don't know if I can swallow time skipping right now. He was in and out of sessions with Drayden. Part of me was hoping to see him a little more. It would have been nice to have someone to talk with. Lunchtime feels so dead without Redline. Maybe dead isn't the word I should be using right now. Things lack color, excitement. Conversations dry up quicker than normal. Quicker than normal? With who? You don't talk to anybody. I thought it was like established that he hasn't talked to anyone. Oh, they're drying up faster than normal with Bruce? You especially don't talk to Bruce.
Yeah.
I don't... Not that I'm supposed to having short talks, but it's clear that Bruce is struggling. It's like, that's the conversations are drying up? This whole game, you've never spoken to Bruce for more than a few words, except the big... him saying everything to you at once. Like, that's kind of that was the point, essentially.
I don't know, maybe he's talking to Bucky or Drayden. Maybe it's Bucky during coaching sessions. I don't know.
It seemed to be saying explicitly there was Bruce there. We both
yeah.
His friends didn't try bothering me at all. I could see them looking at me every so often in the cafeteria, but at least they left me alone. It's bad enough when I had the room to myself. At least then I could still see him. I tried sneaking past the guards in the med bay, but the door to Red's room was locked. He just needs some rest. We all could use some rest, but he needs it. I wonder if it's selfish of me to even try to see him right now. My need to see him shouldn't take priority over his need for bed rest, not to mention all the emotional turmoil he went through right before his fight. But on top of that, maybe he needs someone to talk with. I mean, he has Drayden. I'm overthinking this. It doesn't matter if I'm being selfish or not. I miss my friend. He needs to rest. I can deal with it until he's ready.
That's such a fucking scary thing for somebody to think. That's like, oh, my abuser, is he doing okay? Like, that's, oh my God. Sorry, I don't know if I'm being a drag on this, like overemphasizing this or something, but
I think you're misinterpreting it. He's talking about trying to visit Redline in the hospital.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, Redline hasn't done anything to him.
Okay. I thought it was Bruce again, so I'm so sorry. Okay.
I have my own work to focus on anyways. Bruce and I have been having private sessions. Bucky and I have been having private sessions. That's a big mix-up for me to make. He's managed to get our classmates to work with other coaches, setting a safety risk after they jumped me in red. Gotta admit, it's heavenly being able to work one-on-one with a coach, especially one like Bucky. He spends so much of his time in our class just making sure everything is in line. I feel like I've grown a ton this past week alone. I feel faster, stronger, more focused, which is surprising given everything that's happened.
And
Maybe it's because I know there's an end in sight now. How? Why? How do you know there's an end in sight? If he has a plan, he's not telling us, and that's a weird POV thing to deal with.
Well, the commish is going to be at the end of the week, and he's going to fight the commish. And
definitely doesn't know that's going to happen if that happens.
Well, we do. Oh, so he doesn't. Oh, right.
There's no.
Sorry, my genre awareness. Transcended onto Zander.
There's nothing in the story indicating that would happen. It's just like you're like, oh, that's where it's going, isn't it?
True.
My phone starts buzzing on my desk. This is why I always keep it on my bed. The sound it makes when someone calls me always freaks me out.
At least I can relate to that.
I flip the phone over, and it's Dad. I guess the whole texting thing didn't pan out. Has he seen you get your chest caved in on television, and you still haven't spoken to him since then?
Probably.
I have to take this. My hands are shaking. I didn't want to do this alone, but I think I have to. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hey, Zander. Plentiful art styles.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to see.
He looks faster and stronger already with a big T for a nose.
Trying to tell if I
recognize it. T stands for Tander.
Tander. Alex Tander.
What is that phone? Wait, is that a BlackBerry?
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like it's mostly screen, but it definitely has buttons. It's chunky. It's like a chunky, old smartphone era where they were like pretty thick.
Yeah, it feels like a 2010 kind of phone. Maybe I don't know. It's interesting.
It
looks neat. I like it. Mm-hmm. Back when the internet was usable.
I'm losing my mind a little bit.
I like this. There's always the artist. I like the highlight and the soft shadows. I don't know who does this stuff, but it's really nice looking.
I'm staring at it because I'm like, is this the sprite artist? Is the first time we've ever seen the sprite artist draw the protagonist of the game? So it's like, wow, I don't quite.
It could be.
At first glance, I'm like, I don't quite recognize him here. I wonder who drew this one. And then I'm like, but the dissonance
is that the sprite artist.
The dissonance is that we've seen Zander 100 times, but we've never seen a sprite for him. So might. So after all this time, I'm like, is that the artist that did the sprites? Because it looks.
That was another thing that I thought.
He's got the big hands and stuff that Drayden has and everything.
Yeah.
And there's elements that seem recognizable.
I kind of was hoping that there would be a little floating head of Zander in the lower left. I'm kind of spoiled by novels that do that.
It is neat when that happens.
Yeah, because it really helps if you don't see the protagonists themselves for as long as we did.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of remind us of what they look like. Because if we can see the shaved off stubs of the horns all the time, then we don't run into the problem that pretty much everybody had where they thought he was a wolf. Because they're subconsciously seeing the stubs over and over again.
Yeah, Horrorbuns did that for Clawstar, and it definitely works pretty well.
Yeah.
Having Eli has a little head in the corner, and he emotes constantly. And you're like, oh, this is neat.
Yeah, I like that.
It gives the character a lot of personality.
Yep.
Especially if they keep saying one thing in a meeting and another all the time, and you're like, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Usually when people pick up the phone, one of them says something.
I need a different dad voice. I can't commish this. That would be a weird. Hello.
Hi.
Oh. Hey, Alex.
I taste copper in the back of my throat.
Oh, man.
Sorry I haven't picked up.
Oh, that's okay. You're probably too busy for us anyway.
Not really sure what to say to that.
So, how's life?
Is this what he wanted to call about for the last few months? Busy. I mean, Zander, that is the normal interaction parents have, is they, the check-in, just normal calls. Busy, 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 you know.
I'm sure. You know, your mother got a new job a few months ago. That's kept her pretty busy too, so ain't nobody been talking to Daddy.
What's she doing now?
Something in the school system. Hard to remember all the jobs and all that. Huh.
Okay.
Yep. What you up to?
Good lord. What do you want, Dad? Oh. That's a different expression. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Just calling to say hi.
You've been calling for months.
Well, you didn't pick up, so I had to keep trying.
Dad, you haven't talked to me since high school. You obviously want to say more than just hi, so just...
Just to say hi. And, I wanted to apologize.
My stomach drops. Okay.
So, yeah. Just wanted to let you know that. The one person he's probably not going to forgive is his dad.
Oh.
I mean, that's fine. That makes sense. It's just like juxtaposed about everything. Whatever. I'm not going to harp on this. Fuck it. Your mother and I love you very much.
Okay. I'd still like the apology.
I know, and I'll make sure that we have that talk down the line. Your mother just wanted me to call and let you know that we forgive you and we love you. Oh. Oh.
That's the wrong word you used right there. Forgive me. Okay.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm just not sure what I did that needs forgiveness.
I mean, think of it like, I don't know, an olive branch or whatever. We both said some things we didn't mean, and now it's time for us to grow up and make up.
Dad, you kicked me out.
No, all we said is that you had to find somewhere else to live while you got everything figured out.
That's what that means? That's not what happened. I mean, if it is what happened, that's what it would still mean.
Well, that's how I remember it. A little on the nose. Oh well.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You sound upset. Everything all right, Alex?
My ears twitch. No, I'm fine.
Okay. I, saw you on the TV the other day.
You still watch the fights?
Yep. I didn't know you stuck with the whole MMA thing. Guess I did something right there, huh? Oh. Train up a child in the way he should go and all that. That's like religious, right? Like, train up a child definitely sounds like...
It sounds like a Bible quote. I have no idea what it is.
It's from KJV. Yeah.
It's definitely
This is probably something that people fucking say.
It's italicized like a quote, yeah.
Yep. I thought so Train Up a Child is also specifically a book from the 90s that's like, basically, if you hit your kids, they'll become good citizens or whatever. And like, the Duggars are all about it and shit like that. So, yeah, anyway, whatever.
Ugh. Uh-huh.
I'm just saying, you know, it might have been a good thing you got into MMA. Look at where it got you.
Did you see the fight? I thought you said you saw it on TV. Where it got me?
Well, yeah, you're in FANG, buddy. That's huge.
Well, he is. I guess. It's kind of hard to feel accomplished when all I'm doing is fighting Bruce.
Just the bluntness of this is really fucking funny, right? Or is this just me? I don't know. Yeah, I was kind of confused about the whole thing. Is that... Oh my god. Oh, wow. Is this part of your gay stuff?
My stuff?
Challenging Bruce all the time?
He thinks this is all some kind of sex thing. Good fucking lord. Well, you did make Clawstar canon in your universe by acknowledging it, where it is a sex thing. Gotta remember my contract.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, why not?
Oh, what's wrong?
No, nothing. I don't know.
You know, you get that from your mother. You both do that thing where you pretend nothing's wrong. You can tell me anything, Alex.
That's definitely not true. Something snaps. Dad, you disowned me. You kicked your son out of the house because you snuck through his phone and found out he was gay. I was 16, Dad. I was a child.
Well, when I was 16...
No, Dad, shut the fuck up for a second. He actually goes quiet. I get a chance to breathe. You kicked me out. I was just trying to figure myself out. I just needed some love and acceptance and understanding, and you threw me away. I had to fend for myself, Dad. Everything I had was gone. And now, almost 10 years later, you want to come back with an apology? I'm sorry, Dad, but that's not going to cut it.
Well, that's a bummer.
What a word.
Yeah, that's... that's a word choice. Yeah, I'm expecting him to say something like, well, you sound upset, so we'll talk to you later, all right, Alex?
You get that from your mother.
Dip on the conversation. Yeah, like, just as soon as he gets confronted, he's like, all right, Dad's out. What do you want me to say, Alex?
My name is Zander now.
What?
You keep calling me Alex. That's not my name anymore.
Well, your mother and I named you Alexander. Maybe Zander could be some kind of cool nickname you can have with friends.
A weak chuckle sputters out in response.
What is it? What's with all the attitude? I already said we were sorry, but we're not gonna call you something you're not.
You're not sorry. You just want to stop feeling guilty.
I mean, of course we feel guilty, son. We missed out on your graduation. We didn't hear anything about you until I caught one of your fights.
I didn't graduate.
Ooh. Sorry.
That's really not what he needs to be apologizing for. I appreciate you calling. Trying to sound like I'm not speaking through gritted teeth. But I'm happy with who I am. And I think I'm happier without you, Dad. I feel lightheaded saying that. There's a few seconds of silence, then he speaks again.
Well, I am very sorry to hear that coming from you, Alex.
Dad, I was so scared. For so long. I still am, honestly. I used to think that getting away from you both would fix everything. Would fix me. But I couldn't even pick up a phone call from you without feeling sick. You and Mom fucked me up, Dad, and I have to live with that. So an apology right now just feels like too little, too late.
I can admit that when all that happened, your mother and I acted rashly. It was irresponsible, and I'm sorry. You know what? I shouldn't interrupt this just to predict this, but it would be great if he goes down the angle of like, how much money you making, Alex? Like, just fucking really twist that knife on him here. That would be good. Anyway, we were afraid for you. This world isn't good to people like you, Alex.
This is a real thing where people are like, we were being homophobic for you.
Yeah, no, this is all very real. Yeah. I guess we'd hoped it was just something you could grow out of. We were scared.
You were scared. How do you think I felt? I'm sorry that you felt nervous for me, but that doesn't justify what you did. I worked so hard trying to be a good son for you. I had to hide who I was because I wanted everything in our family to be alright, but it never was. At least now I have the confidence to know that it was never my fault. He doesn't say anything. What did you hope to accomplish with this call, Dad?
I guess just to say that we're proud of you. And that we miss you, Alex. We want you back in our lives.
There's no helping this. I miss you too, Dad. But even from this phone call, I know that you don't respect me as much as you want in return. Your apology can't undo all the damage you've done. So, thanks for calling, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to be the son that you wanted me to be. But I'm who I want to be. And that feels better than being accepted by you. He's quiet for a few seconds. I hear him sniffle.
Okay.
Okay?
We'll keep praying for you. And I'll keep watching your fights. Do you know when the next one is?
It's tomorrow.
Are you sure? I didn't see any ads for that.
That's weird. I definitely have one.
All right. Well, I'll keep praying for you. We love you, Alex.
Boop. We're not.
Yeah.
Hanging up. We're hanging up. I don't know what to say. I pressed the end call button.
Good decision.
I'm out. Jesus Christ. No. There was too many wrong answers in that conversation. This room feels even more empty than ever. Tears would probably be falling at this point. Maybe I'm too tired for it. I guess I saw this coming. I've cried enough over them. It's hard to feel his support when he could barely admit to his fault. He didn't even try to use my name. The weight on my chest has been lifted, but replaced by something else. Something different. It's not heavy, but it's empty. As empty as this room. I think I need someone to talk to. Bucky and Drayden are probably busy, and Redline's unavailable. Maybe Bruce will pick up? I guess it's weird to call him when I could just go find him. Having his number.
Zan?
Hey.
You okay? I can swing by your room if you...
No, I'm fine. I just kind of need to clear my head.
Sure. What's up?
My dad just called.
Oh, shit. You chew him out?
Kinda.
Nice.
This might have been a bad idea. Why would I talk to Bruce about my dad, knowing what his deal with his parents is?
You need to talk?
I don't really know how to ask this, so maybe I should just drop it.
Well, now I gotta know. I won't bite, Zander.
Do you ever miss your dad?
Wow.
That's a wild thing to ask in this situation.
Oh.
I don't know if we can equate the two of you in this specific avenue quite like that. There's a few seconds of silence.
What a fucking question, dude.
Sorry, I know it's...
Easy, Zan. I'm just pulling your tail.
I'm chill now about how I murdered my dad.
This is fucking crazy. Oh, man. But, that's a tough one. I guess, yeah, kinda. Feels like I missed out on a lot of experiences even after I left the house. For a while, it kinda stung seeing families get along. That never stops. For a while, it kinda stung? No, dude, that never goes away. Damn. Even back when I worked underground, some of those guys had parents and siblings, wives and kids. Made me feel like I did something wrong. Well, I fucking killed my dad, so that probably didn't help.
Just brings it up left and right now. Maybe just a little.
Fuck, whatever, man.
I don't...
Crazy how that works out. But sure, I guess I miss having that kind of connection. Family's supposed to be a constant thing in your life, right? Love and support and all that. And when you lose that, something's gonna feel off. Even if they were a piece of shit. So, to answer your question, I guess I missed what I wanted him to be.
That line works. Everything else he said is rough, because I'm like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
It's like more and more even when you're like, even if he was a piece, I'm like, he was like, he kicked the shit out of you continuously for a while after having just almost killed your mom and so on. Like, that was so traumatic that it's like, yeah, I don't think you could ever do anything besides you just missed the idea of that you could have had a dad.
Yeah,
him specifically,
next level traumatic.
Yeah, like it's too bad.
No, this is like a level beyond what the vast majority of people would like know or understand, right? If you're driven to like killing somebody in your family by their abuse, like that is like a real next level thing. Like you would have to do a lot of research to know. Like, I don't know how somebody would really react to that, but I know it'd be incredibly intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad was a piece of work. Just real understatement. But I always hold out hope that he'd change. Maybe we could have had a real family. I don't know.
No.
I'm not gonna hit you with some jaded bullshit about you should cut them off sooner or whatever. Cause this shit hurts, man. But it hurts less after a while. So try to hang in there, alright?
I guess my breathing got a little heavier as we talked. Hearing him talk so casually brings a different level of comfort than Drayden or Bucky give me. Not better or worse, just different. It's relieving in a way. He doesn't judge me for asking a heavy question like that. He's not pretending to make things any nicer for me.
You still there, Zan?
Yeah, I'm still here.
You okay?
Will be. He chuckles.
Well, even if you aren't okay, I'm here for you. Bucky, Drayden, Red, you got a new family now.
No. No, don't call them family in a story about abusive families where multiple people in this relationship are like Bruce
I'm
has
so
been
fucking crestfallen, dude. I just
like
I'm crushed.
We've had
by this
Bruce
story
physically abuse Zander while he apologized for it, and Drayden being Bucky being the one like that's most enabling of it and not doing anything about it and kind of excusing it and stuff. And it's like it's too much like an actual family dynamic that would be bad. That's already akin to like the ones they came from. That's like
you can just one-to-one map everything onto Bruce's background.
Yeah,
it's just there. Everything is. This is like
this is not.
You got a way to continue the cycle of abuse, Zander. Like, it's
this is not his new beautiful family. He doesn't even necessarily have a good relationship with almost any of them to begin with.
Yeah.
Even like when you take the game at its word, their interactions are so reduced in most of the cases. There isn't really room for the idea of them being a family. Besides the part where he like retroactively glomped on the Red after he was leaving and so on.
Even if it's not the same, we'll do what we can to help. This is like what fucking people say when they recruit you into a cult, right? This feels like love
just
bombing.
Like Zander just talked people down from helping, specifically. Like he stopped them basically. Thanks, Bruce. I'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, Zan.
I hang up and lay back on my bed. Hearing someone's voice was nice. Definitely put my heart at ease a bit. Something's missing. Feels like I have unfinished business. I guess now is as good a time as any for this to get this off my chest. I pull my phone up and open Red in my messaging app. I guess we'll see how that how it plays out next episode. So we have a time skip and there's no follow-up on Cole. So I have to assume that Cole just, like, escaped the compound?
No, he's like the Thing, right? Like, he's just fucking hiding
in the vents
somewhere. Yeah, he's just in the vents, being like, I'm going to kill that man. Like, it turns out that Kane is Cole in disguise.
It feels a bit too much like the story was, like, using Cole to just be an uncomplicated, homophobic, abusive villain that causes the big bad thing to happen and then just vanishes so that nobody has to deal with him and like
I'm not even
potentially
in a position
like
to
sully
analyze
themselves by having to deal with him, so he just disappeared entirely. I'm genuinely worried he'll just never come up again when like the setting feels like it shouldn't allow him to escape. So I'm like, well,
it's going to be like a series of three. It's going to be a series of 3 fights, right? Like Zander fights Bruce, and then it's like a gate opens and like Cole appears, and he's like,
like a wave defense
you're trying
game?
to fight me, and then Zander beats Cole, and then the commissioner comes down and he's like, that's not how it was supposed to end, Zander. I'm going to finish what Cole and Bruce couldn't start. You know,
Duragon C. Mikado.
Yeah.
Hey, they're both
I am
blonde.
just fucking washed with thoughts.
Huh.
Wow.
Well,
all right. Let's see how tomorrow.
We'll see how it
Same
pays
time
off
tomorrow.
Maybe, yeah. We'll see how this pays off overall. But
yep.
Yeah, they have a rough dynamic as a unit. I do not want these characters to know each other anymore. They need to go out into the world and escape everything that's happening right now. This is it's not the found family you want your character to get when they're recovering from abuse explicitly. It's
it feels like a horror story. Like it's like, we'll stay in our underground compound. We love you. We'll never hurt you again. It's like it's disturbing. It really is. This dynamic is really, really, really upsetting.
Well, see you all next time.
See you next time.